Kami witnesses the massacre of the humans in the city and how I was defeated. Kami quickly goes to the other humans and tells them that they all need to go down and stop this threat. So, Kami and the humans escape to the city to confront the androids. Now, these androids would be much stronger than the original timeline's counterparts, due to them being way more technologically advanced. In this timeline, Gero wasn't working by himself and had the entirety of the Red Ribbon Army helping him out and getting resources, so the androids would be slightly more powerful, and not exactly have free will. Since they're essentially better androids, 17 and 18 are completely under Gero's control and have no chance of rebelling. Android 16 is also an actual cyborg and not fully mechanical, due to this actually being Gero's son turned into an android instead of a fully mechanical clone. Yamcha and Krillin go about killing the weaker android humans, stopping them from killing any more innocents, except 14 and 15 intercept and they begin their battle. These two androids are insanely powerful, and even though Yamcha and Krillin have improved greatly, 14 and 15 are stronger than Frieza, so it's going to be tough. The two have to push their Kaioken to times 20 to keep up, and even this is barely enough to keep up with the two. Tien and Kami face off against 13 and 16, and of course these two are leagues ahead of Frieza as well, so the two have some trouble. Kami has also learned the Kaioken, but can only push it to times 10 right now, and this is almost enough to do some damage against 13, but still not enough. And Tien isn't a match whatsoever for 16, and is beaten horribly, being thrown to the ground on death's door. Krillin notices how everybody isn't exactly doing well at all, and they need to resort to drastic measures. Krillin launches a solar flare at the androids and escapes with Yamcha, and the two fuse into Krillcha. Krillcha returns to the battlefield in Kaioken times 20 and begins to severely wreck the androids. Remember, the fusion multiplier is insane in terms of power, so I'm pretty sure that Krillcha here would absolutely dominate. Krillcha manages to completely destroy 14 and 15, and then goes right after 13 to save Kami. 13 is being beat up pretty bad, but same thing as in the Super Android 13 movie, he absorbs 14 and 15's power chips and becomes Super Android 13. Super Android 13 begins to even the odds against Krillcha, and the two are essentially equals. Kami wants to help too, and knows that Krillcha's fusion won't hold out much longer, with the Kaioken times 20, so he prepares to risk it all. Krillcha begins to sweat, as he knows he can't beat the android the way he is now. If he increases the Kaioken anymore, the fusion is going to be ripped apart, and he doesn't know what to do. Krillcha is knocked to the ground, and Super Android 13 rushes right at him, prepared to finish this. Except, the android is caught in a green rush of energy, and begins to swirl around, until he is sealed away in the jar. Kami was able to unleash the Mafuba, but since he was extremely weakened while doing the technique, he used up the rest of his energy, and collapses to the ground, lifeless. Krillcha rushes over to Kami, trying to see if there's any way he can help, but suddenly, 17 and 18 land in front of Krillcha, and say that no matter what they do, they're not going to get out of here alive. Krillcha is pretty angry now since their master just died, and goes to attack the two androids, but 16 shows back up and slams him into the ground. 17 and 18 tell him that of course the two can't beat a fusion by themselves, and that's why they're so glad that Gero researched fusion himself, and created this nice looking armband for the two. Krillcha stares in horror as the two androids EX fuse into android 17-18. Again, Gero still unleashes spy robots, and was able to see the fusion technique in action, so he developed the EX armband just like what Bulma created in Dragon Ball Fusions, and was able to copy the technique for the androids to use. 1718 completely demolishes Krillcha, and once the fusion runs out, 1718 tells them, "I told you so," and knocks him unconscious. 19 also found an unconscious Tien, and sucked almost all of the energy out of him. 19 then takes the humans' bodies and brings them to Gero as well. With all of the Z fighters gone, 1718 frees Super Android 13, and the androids continue to go off and destroy the rest of the world. Meanwhile, the Saiyans continue their training in the ship on their way to defeat Frieza. Goku and Vegeta have gotten accustomed to their Super Saiyan forms, and while they're not on the mastered levels of it, they can still use it for considerable lengths of time. Raditz and Nappa have full control over the wrathful form now, and have started to tap Kaioken on top of it, except it puts tremendous strain on the body, so they're only able to push it to times 2. After 5 days of intense gravity training, the group make it to Frieza's capital. The moment the group land, they are attacked by waves of Frieza soldiers, and Goku tells them all he can handle this, and the others should go after Frieza. Vegeta and Nappa listen and go track down Frieza, but Raditz says he's not leaving his brother, and stays behind helping him to fight off soldiers. Raditz tries to kill a few of them, but Goku stops him, and just says that Bulma contacted the Galactic Patrol, and that they'll be showing up soon to put these guys away in the Galactic Prison. Raditz thinks that this is good enough, and plus, it's an extra challenge to try not to kill anybody, so he complies. Zarbon and Dodoria show up, and Raditz tells Goku he can handle this one, as these two are the ones who joined in on torturing him, so he has a bone to pick with them. Raditz transforms into the wrathful form, and absolutely demolishes the two, even when Zarbon transforms as well. Raditz threatens to kill the two, and just like in canon, the two beg for their lives and say that they'll join up with them, and help in any way they can to defeat Frieza. Raditz thinks this is hilarious, but knows that if they let them join them, then they'll backstab them immediately. So Goku goes up to the two and says that he'll let them join up with him, but he wants to show them something first. Goku powers up into Super Saiyan and says that his power is leagues above even Frieza himself, so if they try anything at all, he will kill them. Zarbon and Dodoria feel the immense power in Goku and know he's not joking, so they tell him that they won't try anything at all, since they kinda want to live. After Zarbon and Dodoria join up with them, the Saiyan brothers are suddenly attacked by Recoome and Burter. Goku and Raditz are able to easily defeat them, with Goku and Base being more than enough for either of them. Jace and Guldo arrive next, and Guldo manages to trap Goku in his telekinesis, but unfortunately he could only trap Goku, as Raditz was off fighting Jace. Raditz easily defeats Jace and quickly takes out Guldo before he can do anything to Goku. Finally, Ginyu shows up and tells Goku he's impressed with his power, and on how he's able to take out all his men without even breaking a sweat, and he kinda wants that power for himself. Goku has no idea what Ginyu means, and Ginyu unleashes his change ability on Goku, and the two swap bodies. Raditz is in shock on seeing this, and Ginyu laughs as he attacks Raditz. Goku is in complete shock on seeing himself in another body, and hopes that this isn't permanent. Ginyu fights with Raditz, and Raditz realizes that Ginyu has actually gotten weaker since he can't use Goku's power to his advantage. So, Raditz transforms again and begins to beat down on Ginyu. Ginyu is surprised on seeing a transformation like this, and comes to the conclusion that Raditz must be more powerful than Goku if he can transform, so he tries to steal Raditz's body. However, Goku jumps in the way, gets his body back, and immediately goes Super Saiyan, knocking Ginyu unconscious. Soon after, the Galactic Patrol arrives to imprison the soldiers, and Jaco and his superior, Miras, show up and thank the two Saiyans for their work. Goku says it's no problem, and they should just look out for that Ginyu guy over there, as he can change bodies, and that's not exactly fun. Miras says he can deal with that, and then tells Goku that while they've been away, something terrible has happened on Earth. Vegeta and Nappa show up against Frieza, and to insult Frieza greatly before he dies, Vegeta sends in Nappa to toy around with him first. Nappa battles first form Frieza in the wrathful form, and Frieza is shocked on how this weak Saiyan could get so powerful in such a short amount of time. Frieza isn't in the mood to toy around, and he powers up to his second form. Nappa has a bit more trouble here, and even uses Kaioken times 3 to match, and while he's dealing heavy blows to Frieza, his body is tearing itself apart, and he needs to finish this fast. Vegeta notices Nappa slowing down, so he tells him to back off, and he'll step in now. Vegeta begins to mess with Frieza alone in base form, and Frieza is pretty mad to see a lowly Saiyan dealing so much damage to him. He transforms into his third form, and now Vegeta begins to step it up, and transforms into his wrathful form. Frieza realizes that he stands absolutely no chance, and decides now he needs to unleash his full power. He immediately goes 100% in his final form, and finally evens the odds against Vegeta. Vegeta is actually enjoying this fight, as he's on par with Frieza without even turning Super Saiyan. Frieza grows in anger to the point where he unleashes a death ball at the planet to destroy it. Vegeta catches the ball and struggles to hold it back. This is a non-issue to Vegeta, of course, as he turns Super Saiyan at the last second and throws it back at Frieza. Frieza has fear shown in his eyes, as the legendary Super Saiyan form was the last thing he saw before he died. Vegeta lands back on the ground, feeling pretty good about finally defeating the Emperor of the Universe and avenging the Saiyan race. Goku and Raditz then rush in and tell Vegeta and Nappa that something terrible is happening on Earth. How a group of robots arrived and they are basically destroying everything. The Saiyans gather around Miras as he summons his staff for the others to look through, and they see this ultra-powerful androids going around completely destroying everything. Luckily, Chi-Chi and Gohan escaped the Capsule Corp and managed to hide out with Bulma and her family. Goku is very confused since he wonders why I didn't do anything to try and stop this, unless I somehow forgot about it. Miras asks if the Saiyans think they can stop this threat, and Goku says that they may be able to, but if they manage to defeat the Z-Fighters on Earth, then they may have some trouble. Plus, Kami is now dead, which means the Dragon Balls are no more. Luckily though, Goku knows that there are Dragon Balls on Namek which can bring everybody back. Goku asks if the Galactic Patrol can make their way to Namek and gather the Dragon Balls and see if they can fix everything, just in case they lose. Miras says that they can totally do this, as these androids are a significant threat, so they'll allow this. And Goku also asks Miras if he can pick somebody up from a planet and bring him along with them, as they're supposed to after defeating Frieza, but this is a little bit more important. Jaco also gives the Saiyans his Galactic Patrol ship, as it's way faster than the Capsule Corp ship the others had, and they arrive to Earth in only one day. The Saiyans arrive on a ruined planet, which really aggravates Goku, as these monsters completely destroyed his home in only a few days. The Saiyans fly around and try to track down the androids, since remember, the androids don't have any key. But 16 has a radar that he uses to find them, and he and the others show up to the Saiyans. 1718 tells Goku that they were created because of Goku's rampage on the Red Ribbon Army, and this whole mess is because of him. Goku is pretty angered and transforms into a Super Saiyan and rushes 1718. Unfortunately though, Goku is no match for the fusion of the androids. and at this point, the Saiyans don't know that 1718 is a fusion, so they just treat him as this extremely powerful android. Vegeta rushes in to try and help Goku, but even with two Super Saiyans working together, the two are no match for the android fusion. Raditz and Nappa know they'll be no match by themselves, so they fuse into Nats to try and help out, and Nats is able to destroy 19, but he's no match against Super Android 13 or 16. Nats uses his wrathful state combined with Kaioken, and is able to wear down 16 considerably, but Super Android 13 is still a powerhouse, and Nats has used up too much energy and defuses, with the Saiyans being thrown off to the side by the Super Android. Goku and Vegeta realize that they're no match for these androids, so they decide to fuse together into Gogeta in an attempt to finish them off. Gogeta instantly transforms into a Super Saiyan and rushes up and completely obliterates Super Android 13 before they can finish off Nappa and Raditz. 1718 continues their battle against the Saiyans, and the android is actually a good match for Super Gogeta. And unfortunately, 1718 has infinite energy, and this is enough to wear Super Gogeta down, since he's used up so much energy. Gogeta realizes that even with all of this power that he possesses, he still can't defeat the android, no matter how hard he tries. What can he do now? If only Damon was here, maybe he could tell them what to do. No. They can't rely on Damon and tell them everything that they're going to do. They need to work for themselves and come up with their own way to finish fights, without Damon's influence. Gogeta decides he's going to use his Saiyan genetics to really finish this fight, and he launches a spirit ball up in the air, and allows himself to transform into a golden great ape. 1718 is shocked since they didn't expect this whatsoever. 1718 is beaten around by the Great Ape right off the bat, and the android struggles to get around and avoid the attacks. 1718 then goes for the tail, and while Gogeta tries his best to protect his tail, it's not enough in the long run, and 1718 cuts it off. Gogeta refuses, however. He can feel himself begin to shrink down, but he tries to remember the training Goku and Vegeta did in this form, where he needs to maintain this power. He does shrink, however, but not completely back to normal. Gogeta, without even knowing it, has become a Super Saiyan 4. Gogeta's power is off the charts now, and 1718 can feel how much more powerful they are. Gogeta looks at himself and can feel that this power is similar to the wrathful form, but way more powerful and deadly. Gogeta goes to rush in and destroy the android, but suddenly, they defuse. Due to the lack of a tail, Gogeta was only able to access Super Saiyan 4 for a little bit. 1718 breathes a sigh of relief and mocks the Saiyans on how they tried so hard, but still failed in the end. 1718 goes to completely destroy the Saiyans, but the attack is nullified. 1718 looks around confused, and they are suddenly knocked away. Goku and Vegeta are confused as well, and then amazed, as I land right in front of them, looking much different. Goku and Vegeta ask what happened to me, and I tell them that there's no time to explain, as 1718 is going to come back fast. I give them a Senzu Bean and tell them to take cover. 1718 shows back up in front of me and asks how exactly I managed to resist becoming an android. I tell the fusion that I didn't, and I have indeed become an android. Except, I've managed to train my mind so much over the years that now I'm completely resistant to any forms of mind control. So, even with Jiro's amazing technological advancements, this isn't even enough to control my mind. 1718 is impressed with my amazing mental control, but say having a good mind isn't going to be enough to defeat him. I tell him that hey, strength isn't exactly everything, and I put my hands together and unleash my newest technique, the Mentaru Buriku, and launch it at 1718. 1718 clutches her head in pain, screaming as her mental state begins to collapse, seeing all of their worst fears realized. I use this distraction to shoot a death beam at the EX Fusion Man, destroying it, and 1718 diffuses. I then use the Mentaru Buriku to manipulate their mind and completely destroy the mind control chip in their head, bringing back Lapis and Lazuli to their original selves. The two delinquents ask what the hell just happened to them, and I just enter their mind and show them everything that happened. The two are in complete shock and horror on what just transpired, but I tell them that now everything is going to be alright, and that we're going to fix everything. I go up to Goku and ask if Kami is still alive, and Goku says he isn't, but the Galactic Patrol is currently over on Namek, and that they're going to use the Dragon Balls there to bring everybody back. And just as Goku says that, the landscapes around us are restored instantly, and the people start reappearing. Once everything has returned, I ask where the other humans are, and Goku says he doesn't know, and he thought that they were killed along with Kami. Luckily though, now that Kami is back, he tells us that he saw from the other world that the humans were taken in by Jiro too, and were most likely turned into androids as well. Now, I'm pretty exhausted right now, since I just got completely experimented on and my body completely manipulated into something robotic. I feel violated. Luckily, the moment I woke up, let's just say that Jiro didn't die a peaceful death, and I know why 17 killed him right off the bat. The Saiyans tell me I should take a rest, but I say I need to go along with them right now, since the humans probably have mind control too, and I need to break it. We venture back to Jiro's lab, and I search it and find the humans pretty much already completed. Now remember, Jiro's been turning people into androids for years now, and he can definitely turn a human into an android in under a day. So, the human Z-Fighters are all turned into androids already. We wake them up, and of course, like I predicted, they all immediately attack us. And I instantly use my Mentalu Buliku to restore their mind. Of course, Android Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien all feel the exact same way I do, and I try my best to help them get through the sudden shock right off the bat. As we leave, I notice a weird bug monster in a cage, and instantly recognize this as Cell. I pick up the cage and bring it to Bulma, asking if she can reprogram this being, as she does checkups on me and the other humans to make sure that we're still relatively okay. Tien asks if this android process can be reversed, and I tell them that it's highly unlikely, as the Dragon Balls can't restore us to normal, as it's far beyond Shenron's power. This is just something that we're all going to have to get used to. And I believe this episode has gone on long enough, so I'm going to leave this episode here. Don't worry, I'll be exploring more on how I and the other humans, plus Lapis and Lazuli, feel next episode. And what the Saiyan's going to do now that they've discovered a Super Saiyan 4 transformation. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. So, until we meet again guys, see you later!